What's up guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a comparison of the Veteran Sherman custom seat version 1 and the version 2.5. Now you might be like, wait, 2.5? Didn't you just release a video about 2.0? Yes, indeed. And there was a problem with that. The OtterBoxes acted as almost like a cavity, a speaker box, bandpass if you will, think that, and they resonated sound, which resulted in incredibly dangerous vibrations and shaking within the wheel. I recorded a little clip that I'll play right now for you. Yeah, so we removed those and we just put the two pieces of wood together, which actually lowered the seat just a tad. And we're going to give you a comparison between version 1 and version 2.5 right now. We've got Tim right over here, who is going to be testing this out and giving us his opinion on version 1 of the custom Sherman seat and version 2.5. So Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on version 1? Guys, we did make a full video on this, and if you haven't seen it, I'll link to it right here. But just before you take off, oh, by the way, Tim has not yet ridden version 2.5, so you're going to get to see his genuine reactions to it. Tell us a little bit about what you think about the version 1 that you're sitting on now.
I think that version 1 is an amazing seat because you get to clip onto the wheel itself, and that creates a third point of contact on the front of the seat. I think this is going to be really useful for riding off-road and for technical turns in a trail situation. However, I don't like the flaring of the stock Surron seat, and it makes you have to sit a little bow-legged like I'm riding a fat horse. That part I don't like.
All right, well, let's see it, Tim. So when you do, exactly, when you do little maneuvers like that, how do you feel about it? Is it still giving you that kind of bow-legged, tight feeling?
It feels like I have a great amount of control because I'm able to grab the seat, but having this flare my inner thighs out does affect things a little bit. So I find that the third point of contact gives me something that I really like, but the width of the seat is something that also detracts from what the third point of contact is adding.
Let's switch to version 2.5 and see what you think about that. I think he's gonna love it. All right, so you can see the height of version 1 right here. It's pretty tall, and it definitely has a wide stance here with these wings or whatever you want to call them. So as you saw in the version 2 video, I significantly decreased the width of the seat by heating it up and then using some gaffing tape to form the shape I wanted and letting the plastic cool down. It retained that shape, and I think that this is going to provide an amazing, comfortable ride. Let's find out. There it is, guys. Now, before we go, let's talk about a couple things. You can see here that it is significantly lower, and more importantly, you can see the width, the wings, whatever you want to call it, they've been reduced greatly, and that's going to address what he was talking about a couple minutes ago with version 1 and how it felt a little wide, like he was riding bow-legged. So here's version 2.5. Notice, again, there are no more OtterBoxes. That was a bad idea. But hey, you learn, right? So let's find out what he thinks of version 2.5. I think he's gonna love it. Well, so you're just standing on it now. You can't really have much of an opinion just yet, but let's maybe just do a couple little loops right here, back and forth.
Ooh.
Oh, you have an opinion already.
Hey.
You look like you're more comfortable with it being a little lower.
One of the things I really like about seated riding, and one of the reasons I'm able to go so fast while seated, is you're taking two masses that are moving and you're coalescing them into one. you're centering the mass, and that gives you stability. By lowering the seat closer to the wheel, I believe it's going to add to the stability, and that's one of the things that I really like about seated riding. Seated riding is actually safe riding. You sit down, no wobbles, a lot more control. You're more in tune with your wheel because you have more points of contact between you and the wheel, so you tend to feel what's happening internally with the gyro and how the motors are reacting. The more in tune with your wheel you are, and the less decentralized you have the mass, the more stable the experience while riding. So, you know, you're just lowering everything, you're centering all the weight, and you're just going to get better response, I believe. It's going to make things more stable and better to ride.
I agree with that. So let's see what how it handles.
Okay, so John won't let me scratch up his pedals.
No.
But I could turn even tighter, because now that the width is reduced on the wings, that means that I'm able to have more movement between my inner thighs, and so that allows me to tip the wheel and get a little bit more articulation during the turn. Sitting down and standing up is more comfortable because I don't have things pressing up against my high inner thigh. I like it.
So, what do you think about the seat? Which one is better in your opinion, and why?
So, before I answer that question, I just want to go over what I liked about the version 1. What I liked about it is, so far all the seats I'd seen for the Sherman were clip-on, which meant that if you put any amount of pressure pulling, or if you had a crash, the seat was going to pop right off. So by introducing the latching system, you were securing it on there in a way that mechanically held on and created this third point of contact that you could use, right? And so the more points of contact, the more stability, the more control you have. And so creating the third point of contact was something I really liked.
Right.
However,
it's much safer.
Yes. However, it was just a little too wide for electric unicycle riding, and I felt like it was a little bit tall, and so it separated me from the wheel a little bit and extended that center of gravity, which reduced a little bit of the stability that is inherent to seated riding. And that's one of the things I like about seated riding, is it gives stability. It coalesces the mass and centralizes the weight, and so you get a little bit more stability. And this, by raising me up, kind of diminished that gain.
Yep.
And so I appreciated what it was doing, but I didn't like the way it was doing it.
So I think we managed to check most of those boxes with 2.5. What do you think?
Yeah, so version 2.5. So version 2.5 is amazing. FYI, I did like version 2.0 because
the novelty of having the OtterBoxes, I really like the concept of having like a little trunk, a little storage space where I could keep some emergency.
That was the thought when I was designing it.
Yeah.
It sounded great. It looked fantastic on paper. In reality, it was a whole nother story.
Yeah. Nobody could have foreseen that you were creating a resonating chamber like the inside of a guitar.
That's exactly, that is, guys, here's a little clip again of what that sounded like.
Right, that was horrible. And to anybody who thinks that those vibrations are not a big deal, anytime you introduce unnecessary vibrations to something that's held together by screws,
yeah, you're asking
right?
For trouble.
Yeah, those screws are just going to start slowly backing their way out.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
anyways, so by removing the OtterBoxes, we lost the storage, which I thought was a cool and novel concept, but at the same time, it reduced the height.
Yep.
Which helped to give back some of those lost gains on stability going with seated riding. So it was a good thing.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
It was a good thing. Thank God the OtterBoxes didn't work, because now you have a more stable seat, and by heating up the inside of it and bending in the wings that were flaring out, like now it's so much more comfortable. It's allowing me to get my legs closer together, and also that gives me the ability to make tighter turns and maneuvers, because when you have to tilt the wheel inside of your legs, the higher up it is, right? The longer the stick, the wider the degrees of span.
So that's exactly, is exactly what I was referring to in the first video, where I said I felt as if you lost a little bit of the agility by having the seat so high.
Yeah. Well, I think that you've regained that agility with this, because unfortunately you won't let me scrape your pedals, but
no,
you can
when
really,
you have a veteran of your own someday.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, so you've reduced the height, regained the stability, gotten rid of the bow-legged fat horse you're riding on by folding in the wings. Anyways, so I really like the 2.5 version. It's lower, it's slimmer, it's still, rigid. It gives you that third point of contact, but now you get some of that agility that you previously lost.
Yep.
Some of the stability that was previously lost, and it's still fast and easy to take on and off, and it does so in a way that gives you something secure that clip-ons are never.
So it gives you a little bit of added sense of confidence. Okay, so there it is, guys. You've heard it, version 2.5. It addressed some of the concerns that we had with version 1. I think it was a big success. I'm not going to stop here though. We're going to figure out a way to make this even better. It will not have resonating chambers inside of the version 3. Not yet sure what it is exactly that we're going to do with that, but thank you, Tim, for all of your help today and for, riding this and giving us your opinion. Guys, check out Tim's channel if you haven't already. I will put a link to it at the end of this video, as well as the video description. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.